One Down, the comedy crossword podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of One Down, the comedy crossword podcast. I'm Brendan Eyre. I'm joined, of course, by Greg Warren. What's up, Greg?
Hey, Brendan, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm good. If you guys like the podcast, if you're enjoying what you're hearing, do us a favor. Do us a solid. Take a couple minutes, less than a minute even. Rate the podcast, review the podcast, and subscribe to the podcast. It makes a big difference, really helps us out. I'm trying to buy a gold chain. I don't know if you knew that about me, Greg.
No.
I'm trying to be
man.
I'm trying to become a gold chain guy.
Yeah, no, I think it would work. What do those run these days?
Well, the one I've got priced out is $600.
Okay.
So I'm just, and I'll retire from this podcast the moment we get to $600. I'm really in this only for the gold chain.
Yeah.
I'm also growing a ponytail. It's a whole new, you get into quarantine, you start thinking about your image, you know, and I think I've got to do a full revamp.
Yeah,
is what
man.
I'm going for.
I'm all about it. So ponytail, that's free, right?
Yeah, that's nothing. That's no cost involved. Yes.
So if you hit the ponytail before you get the $600, you'll stay on the podcast.
I will. Yes, I will.
Okay.
So that's I give you my word on that, and I will post ponytail updates. Now, speaking of the quarantine,
Yeah.
do you guys? Because Greg is currently in St. Louis. I'm currently in New York City because we're obviously quarantined. We're being responsible citizens of the world. Now, you guys are a little more spread out. Do you do the 7 o'clock cheer for the healthcare workers?
Oh man, no, I didn't know that was a thing. I feel bad. I didn't know it was a thing. I appreciate those guys a lot.
Well, I don't know if it is a thing everywhere. I think in New York you're so close that you just hear it. So we're big on the 7 o'clock cheer.
Oh, that's
and
great.
you got your different kind of cheerers. You got your pots and pans people, and
Sure.
they're sort of the base. You know, they keep the whole thing going with
Right.
their banging on their pots and pans. I'm a whistler. You get some guys yelling encouragement. I do a whistle. I'm a good whistler, so I'm a whistler.
High-pitched whistle or like low?
I'm a
Like you put your fingers in your mouth, one of those guys?
Yes. I'm a two finger in the mouth
Whoa.
kind of
Yeah.
come here dog whistle
Okay.
kind of guy.
All right. Yeah, I'm sure all the medical workers appreciate that.
Yeah, they do. Now, I admitted something to my girlfriend that proved to be a very unpopular opinion. I then told my brother it, and he was also disgusted. And that is the 7 o'clock cheer, Greg, is for all healthcare workers, all frontline healthcare workers who are doing a great job. I admitted to my girlfriend that secretly I'm only cheering for the nurses and other hospital staff. Not the doctors.
Well, okay. I mean, I want to point out one thing before we get into this. It's interesting that you're celebrating the workers fighting COVID-19 by sticking your fingers in your mouth.
And you better believe I don't wash
You're
them,
not supposed
my
to
friend.
do that, right? That's exactly what you're not supposed to do. Yeah?
Yeah. What are you doing here, buddy? I was celebrating you. That's why I'm here. So you better find a ventilator.
I didn't mean to interrupt your point there. Now, why won't you whistle for the doctors?
So I appreciate the doctors' work. I think they're heroes. I feel they are adequately compensated for being heroes.
Seriously.
And there's many other people out of work, and we should be cheering for them. So I only cheer for secretly, I'm cheering for the nurses, the administrators, the janitors, and this turns out is a very unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's really in the spirit of what's going on. You're being divisive, which is completely. That's not the spirit of the 7 o'clock cheer. But I don't think anybody really could hear the non-doctor whistling in your whistle. So,
well, I also yell it out.
Oh, that's
I also scream, "Not for doctors!"
Yeah. That's
then
going to be a little more obvious. Yeah.
And then, Greg, I got another problem because I told my brother that, and my brother obviously was offended. His fiance is a ER doctor,
Yeah.
and then he pointed out, nurses make a lot of money too.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that, so now I'm down to cheering for the janitors.
Just the janitorial staff.
I'm only cheering for the janitorial staff, and it's become a pretty weak whistle.
Well, I hate to break this to you. My cousin's a janitor over at St. John's here in St. Louis. You know what he makes?
What?
$250,000 a year.
Greg, I'm just going to be my head out the window whistling for dogs to come. That's what I'm down to, man. Boy. But in all honesty, I do. I say that jokingly. I do appreciate all the health. Everyone really that's working. The supermarket people, they're heroes.
They're complete heroes, man. I tip them. I throw them some cash every time, and the lady turned me down yesterday. She said we're not allowed to accept them. I'm like, well, I've gone to this chain, 5 times and tipped before. She's like, they'll catch me on camera. I can't take it. So, but
you want to know my move? Because
nope. Let's go to the Monday.
Okay. Monday. Monday, April 27th. This was an Ed Sessa puzzle. I finished this quick, man. I felt good. 6:36. I'm starting to get some speed on these Mondays.
6:36 on this thing, man.
Yeah, which is look. Here's the thing.
I did 9:35, but that's
fast too.
6:36, man. You're getting down to Roger Bannister territory.
Yeah, they said it couldn't be done, and then Roger came around with his leather shoes. But the crazy thing is, you follow these guys who are top crossword guys, the Rex Parkers, the competitive crossword guys. They're doing Saturdays in 5:15, and I'm like, how does that work? Because how it works
is they go on the internet and they find the answers.
But even that takes too long because on Monday I know all the answers and it takes me 6:36 to enter them in. So I think my strategy has to change or something. But anyway, the theme, classic Monday nothing theme. The theme was aha moment. It was a bunch of clues, a bunch of answers that started with an A, and then the second word in them had HA. So angel hair. Ace Hardware, and so forth.
Completely unaware of it.
Well, I think here's the thing, man. Your inability to catch on to themes might hurt you on like a Thursday.
It'll slow you down on a Monday.
But I don't know. I think on a Monday it might help. It's almost nonsense on a Monday.
I think these things slow you down on a Monday.
Yeah, there's no reason to even think of it. But the angel hair one, the 17 across, thin variety of pasta.
Uh-huh.
And the answer, of course, was angel hair. Now, I actually recently, Greg, ranked pasta.
Oh, yeah?
I did. And I'd like to see where you stand on this.
Okay.
Where would you put angel hair in the grand scheme of pasta?
Not the top 10.
Okay, good. That's what I like to hear because I put it dead last. Okay,
Yeah.
Angel hair is a ridiculous pasta.
Yeah, it's basically ramen noodles, man. It's Italian ramen noodles.
No, it's not even that because ramen noodles are easy to cook at home. You ever try and cook angel hair pasta at home? Guess what? You got a melted ball of pasta.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy it.
I don't think you really hope those people enjoy it the way you're saying that.
No.
I want to talk about right off the bat. We hit it right off the bat. We got a double duel MCOTD, Monday Clue of the Day. Oh, it's our MCOTW, Monday Clue of the Week. 9A, 9 across. That is blank your engines. Indy 500 directive. It is not assemble your engines. Ladies and gentlemen, oil your it's start your engines. Followed by 14 across. That is a barbed blank fence. Of course, that's wire. There are no barbed wood fences. So that is the double the double Monday clue of the week right there out of the game.
Hold on, my friend.
Yeah?
Hold on, my friend. Hold that ring-a-ding-a-ding
You got
just a
another one?
second longer. How about 46 across? Blank Browns, parentheses, breakfast side dish.
I will give you a second on that, giving us a trifecta of Monday clues of the week. Those are the easiest clues of the week. They are the Mondayest Monday clues that we can find. They often involve a blank with a clue.
Yes, and not only a blank, it's often, like, for instance, 46 across, blank Browns. I wouldn't give a MCOTW just with that, because you've got Cleveland Browns,
Yep.
there's some stuff you could put in there, but when they go, it often involves a blank word and then a parentheses that makes it completely out. Parentheses breakfast side dish is what takes it into the territory of MCOTW. Now,
Point of
I'd like
interest,
to talk-
Brendan.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Don't care for hash browns at all. I rank it as the last breakfast potato. It's right. It's the angel hair pasta of breakfast potatoes.
Well, I disagree, but here is a problem with hash browns. When someone says hash browns, they could be talking about roughly 3 different
they're the
kinds of breakfast
string,
side
they're
dishes.
string. They're like
Yes, that's a classic hash brown.
right.
But consider a McDonald's hash brown.
That's that's not food. That's not food, man. That's ridiculous. And that's just those things coagulated together. It's
right, but it's better. It's better than what you're describing.
It's terrible, man.
I mean, it's not better for you. I understand that. I understand what you're saying.
I like
but
a
it tastes
breakfast
better.
potato. I don't even know what it's called, but like a sort of cubed potato with onions in there is what I like.
Yeah, but this is what I'm telling you.
Sort of crispy on the outside, and those are not hash browns. Those are breakfast
This is what I'm telling you, Greg. People will sell you those as hash
morons,
browns.
Will. Morons, those aren't hash browns, okay? The normal people, the people that listen to this podcast, the bright people of the world, know that those are not hash browns. But home fries, I'll take them over hash browns. Incidentally, home fries, Brendan, not once. Not once have I had them at home. Those are away fries for me.
What are the difference between home fries and hash browns?
Home fries, I think, have sort of a scallop potato look to them. Yeah. I mean, we could do the whole podcast on this, and I'm not saying today. I'm saying an entire podcast just on breakfast potatoes, but we've got responsibilities to our listeners.
Yeah, we do, and that brings us to 2 down. One who tipples too much, and that is a wino.
Yeah.
And that is a very polite way of describing a guy under a bridge with a bottle of Thunderbird. Just that gentleman over there tipples a bit much, I'd say. Seems to have lost one of his shoes.
It is a very nice way of saying that. 58 down, poker's player declaration. The answer is I'm in. I played poker with Brendan last night responsibly. We were playing online with several other friends of ours. And Brendan declared I'm in, I believe, 3 times in a 4-hour game.
I played tight, Greg.
Very
I played
conservative
proper. No, I play proper poker, and I make. I
Straight
finished fourth.
flush. I don't think it's not a royal flush. I'm not. I don't think I'm out. I'm out.
No, I finished 4th out of 9, and you know what? I played where I play. I get my chances, and when they come up, I go big. Okay, so I'm not some just because it was fake money. Everyone's in on every hand. Well, I play like it's real money every time. Okay, and that's it. I play poker the proper way, and frankly, I was a bit disgusted by how your friends were slanging chips around. All loosey-goosey like this is, it's fake money. Who cares? I care. Have some dignity. 24 across, we've got one of the most common problems in the New York Times crossword puzzle, and that is their lack of understanding, Greg.
I knew you were going to go here.
And am I wrong?
Yes.
You think I'm wrong? Wow.
You're
Okay.
wrong.
So
I think.
So
let's say. Okay. Now, do I think that?
let me lay out the clue, and then you'll
Fine.
say it. The clue is competitor of Home Depot and Lowe's, and the answer is Ace Hardware. And my argument is they are not a competitor.
I know, and usually you and I are lockstep on this, man. But, okay, per store, of course not. I think in the retail business, some people do not feel like going and getting lost in a giant store. They just want to go around the corner and pick something up. Yes, I think that these guys do much bigger volume, but I think Ace Hardware is an important hardware store. Important retail outlet. And I think
Let me ask you this.
Fine.
Let me ask you this. When did I ever say Ace Hardware wasn't an important retail outlet? I love a mom and pop because that's what Ace Hardware is.
Yeah,
You
they're
can-
sort of a loose chain of mom and pops, I guess. You're probably right.
Yeah, but they are not competing with Home Depot and Lowe's.
I don't know, man. I think I think because there's so many of them, they may compete as a chain. Sure, outlet to outlet, no. I mean,
Well,
I'm going to
This
do.
is one of our rare disagreements.
Rare
And, they don't come up often.
They don't,
but
man. But I'm
I'd like
sorry.
you guys, please DM us on our Twitter or our Instagram at One Down Podcast. Let us know, is Ace Hardware a competitor of Home Depot and Lowe's? Now, I'm beginning to be turned over to your side of things because for Ace Hardware, Home Depot and Lowe's are certainly competitors.
Right.
It just might not be the other way around. You see what I'm saying? Ace Hardware certainly has to compete with those guys.
No, I think those guys know that Ace Hardware has something they don't. The ability to just walk in and not have to make a big day of it.
Yeah, less stuff. That's
They do
what
have less stuff. They do have less stuff.
Let's go to
This
Tuesday.
didn't say square footage competitor, you know.
Let's go to Tuesday, April 28th. This was a Joel Fagliano. Hey, Joel, you're out of the minis again, my
Yeah,
friend.
man, Joel
you're
is-
out of the minis.
He is. I don't know. I don't do the minis, but I wonder if they're suffering. I wonder if he's taking his eye off the ball.
Now, I want to ask you this, and I want an honest answer, even if it means alienating some of our listeners. If you do the pen and paper New York Times, what you don't know is on the app there are also daily minis, which take usually under a minute to complete. Do you, Greg, look down upon people who do the minis?
No, I don't look down on him because I've fooled around with the minis. I never look down on somebody.
What?
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 I never look down on people.
I'm not talking about it. You fooled around with
I've
the minis.
fooled around with the minis. It's been a
When-
long time. It's been a long time before I knew you, probably. Before I did this podcast, of course.
It better be.
And what I don't like about the mini doers is when they start saying, they start pretending like they're legitimate crossword puzzle people. Tom,
Yeah, 'cause you're not.
a friend of ours, Tom Griswold, who runs the Bob and Tom radio show, who's given me as much of a leg up in show business as anybody, is a generous guy. He wants to talk minis all the time, and I got it. He's an Ivy League educated guy. I'm like, Tom, you're
I was gonna
embarrassing
say,
yourself.
He's a guy who's smarter than both of us combined.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's doing the minis.
Yeah.
He's doing the minis.
I think like anything else, I think he's moved on. He mentioned something about a Tuesday the other day, so I think he is. I think he's legitimizing himself.
Good. Good to hear for Tom. He's always been good to me also, and that's due to you, so thank you. But the theme was sort of puns if someone had a lisp, essentially. So,
they did. Yeah, they did take a shot at the speech impediments in this one. Tweety
company
Bird, especially.
company retweet instead of retreat.
Yeah.
High speed twain instead of train, and a few more along those lines. I'm beginning to sense, and this is funny. We've been doing this so long I'm surprised, not the podcast, but the crossword. I'm surprised it has not occurred to me. But I think so. Monday is just general things in common, basically, and I think Tuesday is kind of the joke theme day.
That's what pun type stuff.
Yeah, sort of like the silly.
I think I like it. I like it. I kind of like 24 Cross. It was some Halloween candy discovered in February. Of course, that's an old bag of Twix. Yeah, I love it. And I'll tell you something, Brendan. I love a Twix candy bar. I remember when they came out, when they were invented. My grandmother, we called her Nano. Nano had a free coupon for Twix. She got it in the mail or something. She collected coupons and gave one each to me and my brother. We went and got a free Twix up at Tomboy, the local grocery store. It was unbelievable, man. It was a whole new deal. And I'm not talking about peanut butter Twix. I'm talking about just your regular Twix bar. It was one of the greatest inventions of which century in now? We're in the back then we were in the 20th. So yeah.
Everything, and this is not a knock on you because it's not true, but everything about that story sounded like you were 95 years old. I remember when Twix were invented, Nano gave us a coupon that arrived in the mail.
Brennan, I didn't say I remember when Hershey's. Twix is a modern candy bar. Okay, it's it's one of the most modern candy bars there are. I didn't say. I remember when I gave my grandson a Werther's Original.
We took the mule down to Tomboy. What's Tomboy? What's Tomboy?
Twix is a modern candy bar. Okay, it came out in the 80s, maybe like 79.
Twix came out in 1941. There's pictures of men storming the beach at Normandy while they eat Twix.
It's not true. It's not true, man. You know, do you like a Twix?
I love a Twix. I do love a Twix. It's a great candy bar because they don't try and do too much. You know,
they nail it.
They've got kind of basically what you would call biscuit base, kind of what they would call in England a biscuit, like a tea biscuit, a layer of caramel on that.
Tea biscuit won like 17 horse races in a row, right?
Yeah, that's sea biscuit, Greg. That's sea biscuit, and then they just cover it with chocolate. That's all they need.
Yeah.
At Twix, it's a good candy bar. Now 4 Across, Greg, at fault.
Yeah,
a little bit of. You know what I like to do. You know what I like to take. What do I like to take?
Oh, 4 down. You're saying, yeah. What do you? Oh, umbrage. Are you taking umbrage with this?
I'm taking umbrage. Is this 4 down?
This is the Brendan umbrage moment of the week.
No, that's never been a designation because I take so much umbrage.
You do take a lot of umbrage. Yeah.
It cannot be a moment of the week. But at fault, and the answer is blamable. There are a lot of things that are blamable that aren't at fault. And I have seen that very clearly in stand-up like if you talk to a stand-up comic who had a light turnout or a bad set, he is blaming a lot of things that are not at fault. You will hear the crazy, hey, well, the thing was Springsteen was in town like 3 days ago. And so that's people's entertainment budget for the week. So, that's it was raining, but it wasn't quite raining hard enough to keep people in. But
I think you make an excellent point there, Brendan. And I've been thinking a lot about the coronavirus, and I think it's going to be one of these cases, blamable. And I think there's some business is going to be like, yeah, man, we coronavirus put us out of business. You know, it's like, no, I remember you guys. You were on your way out way before coronavirus. It's a convenient excuse for you, okay?
Yeah.
You were going down hard. Let's not pretend like it was the coronavirus, all right?
Yeah, you were an organic tea shop in Little Rock. It's not COVID-19.
Man, coronavirus just put us down, man. You can't recover from that.
We tried to get that small business loan, but they want to look at what you were making before the whole thing, and you're not going to show them our records, you know.
8 down, popular app feature that generates funny photos. That's Face Swap. You know what, man? I don't think they're that funny.
Never once have they made me laugh. Never once.
Not one
Greg.
time. Not one time. I don't laugh at that kind. Maybe the first time or two, but I don't think they're funny, man. I don't think those pictures.
They're not funny, and and I'll even look. I'm a professional comedian. I'll even see a meme from time to time that gets me. That is really funny.
Sure.
But a face swap? Come on.
No,
nobody cares about a face swap.
I don't think they're funny. I don't. Man, we probably got to go to Wednesday, buddy.
Okay, real quick, though, 59 across. Some volunteers at music festivals, EMTs, okay? Do you think...
What? They don't pay the EMTs there?
I guess, well, do you think there's any EMTs out there who's just like, hey, man, the only reason I got into this business is because I love fish, bro. I love fish. I was going to open a crystal shop, and then I found out I can get free ticks if I learn CPR.
Man, I really hope that guy's not the one to save my life.
No. Wednesday, April 29th, this was a Joe Di Pietro. The theme was half off. So you had a bunch of basically things that you would say twice, but they were only given once. So you had bang instead of bang, bang.
Bang,
or
bang.
Chin instead of chin, chin. Now, this was a tricky theme until you picked it up, because it was confusing to not know the answer.
Brendan, I need to come clean, man.
Yeah.
I lost on Wednesday. The first time in very long. I'm ashamed to say I didn't get the Wednesday.
There's nothing to be ashamed about,
No, there's
Greg.
something to be ashamed of, Brendan.
There's nothing
we're
to be
professionals,
ashamed
man.
about.
I'm a podcast host for a crossword puzzle podcast, and I can't get a Wednesday? It's embarrassing.
What broke you?
Well, I'll tell you, 2 things broke me, okay? One, I didn't know that chin chin means cheers. What is that?
It's a very, it's like as far as I know, I have all these things in my mind where I don't know exactly where they came from, but I associate it with a very sort of swanky, posh, almost effeminate British kind of deal. Chin chin, you know. Like,
I don't like it. I never heard it. I've celebrated a lot of things. Nobody's ever said chin chin, and you know, of course, I couldn't get that one, and I couldn't get the down. What is da? 27 down. It's part of the
that
Morse
was confusing to me.
I thought it's dots and dashes. No das.
Dots and dashes. Yeah, I don't. Da must be a word for the. I didn't look it up, but that did confuse me.
That's a trick. That's a trick. They know what it's supposed. That's a trick, and it's not a Wednesday trick. Okay.
Right. It's not a Wednesday.
So
trick.
you combine that with chin chin. And then also, I don't know the Lord of the Rings stuff that well. I thought the guy's name was Dallin or something. I don't know. So, and I fought it for a long time, and I didn't get a Wednesday, and I'm ashamed, and I'm sorry.
Don't be ashamed. And don't apologize, Greg. You didn't let anyone down. You showed these people we're real. We're humans, because I've been getting message after message. You two are superhuman. You're the idols of the crossword world. We want to be like you. We want your brains. And I say, no, we're just like you. We're just like you. You know, yes, we're far more powerful brains, but we're just like you in many ways. Yes, our bodies are far more beautiful and developed.
I'm going to have to probably show you on a few more times this week just how much I am like them.
31 across, Greg, resident of a hobby farm, and that's an ant.
Yeah.
And I have always had a problem with the nerve of these guys calling those things farms.
Yeah.
What are you farming? You're not farming. You're not farming anything. You're trying to feel better about what you're doing. Call it what it is. You trap some ants in a too thin of an area.
Yeah.
That's what you did. That is exactly what you did. So you could watch them make tunnels.
Yeah.
You're not. That farm is not
There's
producing.
no farming, man. You're not growing anything. Yeah, you're not making anything. You're right about that, man. You seem to be pretty fired up about it too.
Well, it's just, look, if you're going to trap ants, fine. Don't call it a farm. That's all I'm telling you.
14
Don't call it a
down. Zeno for one, and that the answer is Stoic. That's Zeno of Citium. He was the guy who sort of, I believe, started this Stoicism, the Stoic movement, I guess. You know, he basically said if you use impulse and passion, you're acting like an animal. You need to use reason. And you know, the Stoics, they don't get too excited about anything. Must have been a bummer to get you got like a birthday gift for a Stoic, you know. Hey, Zeno, I got you this motorcycle, man. It's a one of a kind Harley Davidson. I know you like them.
It will get me where I need to go, Greg. I thank you.
I just thought you were going to be more excited about it. I take the good with the bad. What? No, I thought you were going to be pretty excited about this motorcycle I got you, Zeno.
Yeah, the Stoics, man. Yeah, it's hard to party with a Stoic.
Not a lot of fun. Yeah.
No.
Imagine throwing a surprise birthday party for a Stoic.
I am taken off guard. One down, wandering sort. They're back at it, Greg. This is a hobo, and that is another very polite description.
It is, man.
Oh,
Going real easy on the drunks and the winos and the hobos.
Hey, you know old stew pot Jimmy? Man, that guy's just got the travel bug.
That's true, man. That's true. 18 across, bonkers, and it's one of the theme things. The answer is cray, as in cray cray. Somebody says, "Hey, that guy over there, he's cray cray." You know, when anybody says cray cray, that somebody's cray cray, immediately I would rather hang out with the person that was crazy than the person that said those words. It makes me want to throw up every time I hear somebody say that.
100% agree.
Okay.
If you say cray cray, then I say you may be sane, but you suck.
Yeah, you're unoriginal.
Yeah. God, let me go hang out with old Cray Cray over there, because at least he's got two different shoes on, and that's fun.
And sure, he's eating one of them, but that's okay. He seems like an interesting guy.
Yeah. 4 down, certain hair removal technique. That's leg waxing.
Yeah.
And of course, you know I'm familiar with this as a man who was born with a predilection. Not predilection. That's the wrong word. But I have a hairy back, Greg. I get my back waxed. So I know.
You told
the
me
full,
this recently, man.
Yeah. I'm very open with it. I don't
know.
hide it.
Threw me for a
I'm
loop,
not a wax hider. People try and shame us into hiding, but I won't do it. And it's a whole thing, man, because first of all, I got my place, I go in there, and right away she asks, are you going on vacation? As if I can't just not want to have a disgusting hairy back. I got to be going to the beach to get my back waxed?
You know, Brendan, she's probably just making conversation. I mean, think about how many backs she's waxing, you know?
I don't think she's waxing that many because it's a lady's eyebrow threading joint.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Then
well, maybe
I get on the table every time she goes, too much hair. She's mad at me for too much hair on my back.
This is a negotiation tactic, Brendan. This is she's just trying to get the price up a little.
It's ridiculous. And then they're charging extra for the side of the shoulders. That's part of the back, ma'am. That is part of the back. And then every time, Greg, they get mad because I won't take a punch card. Okay? They want me to take the you get 9 back waxes, your 10th is free, and I refuse to go down that route in my life. I got too much stuff in my wallet.
Yeah.
I can't. I'd rather just pay for the 10th back wax than keep on top of that. And I
respect you there, man.
They think that is the equivalent of slapping them in the face and throwing their garbage all over the thing.
Somebody kind of stepped up and was like, hey, I got an idea for marketing. Probably an independent business over there, and you're just, throwing their idea in the garbage, man.
I literally
somebody's
say
trying to make
them,
their bones on that idea, and you don't want any part of it.
This is what I literally have to say. I say I will keep coming here. You're my only back waxing place, and I will even pay for the 10th one. I don't want that card, and they're still furious. They act like it's a sin.
I agree with them, man. It's
furious.
Slap in the face, man. We got to we got to move on, man. We really do.
April 30th. This was a Thursday by Caitlin Reed. The theme was corner kicks.
What?
There were 4 kind of shoes, 1 in each corner box. So, in other words, corner kicks. So you had, and again, me and Greg tend to be purists. We don't like breaking the standard crossword puzzle rules, which is don't put symbols and don't put more than 1 letter in a box. But as those go, this one wasn't so bad. In the 4 corners were boot, pump, flat, and wedge. And it was actually, once you figure that out, it was pretty easy. It was a helpful theme, I found. Did you?
I did notice that there were all kinds of shoes. I didn't notice that had anything to do with corner kicks.
Here's the thing.
I got the puzzle.
Problem.
I got it, man.
I know you got it, so it's fine. But I don't think you read the full clues sometimes, because 35 across literally said goal scoring opportunities in soccer ... or a hint to this puzzle's theme.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it seems like I should have got that.
Now, the interesting thing about the answer to that being corner kicks, actually not very great goal-scoring opportunities.
I was going to ask you about that. I know you're an accomplished soccer player, that's really not aren't you supposed to sort of launch it in the air and then somebody goes up to put a head ball in the goal? Is that how that works?
It's a free cross. Yeah, essentially it's a free cross. But, the defense is ready for it. So you take what I would say is the best soccer league in the world. Some people would say La Liga in Spain. Some people would say Serie A in Italy. I prefer the English Premier League. Take the English Premier League. They're less than 2% of corner kicks result in goals. Wow. Significantly less. So that's not.
And what are you jumping my case for missing this theme? It's a flawed theme.
You're right, and I stand down. I stand down. 54 across, Greg, is easy to park car, and that's a Mini. Now, this to me is so funny. In the Netherlands, teenagers probably drunk teenagers or people in their early 20s, they have realized that it does not take many people to pick up a smart car or a mini car.
Oh, no.
And there is just a rash of people throwing smart cars into the canals of Amsterdam.
Oh, no.
As a prank. And that's a rough prank,
Yeah,
man.
that's not really a prank, man. That's a crime.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say they moved the car or something, you know?
No,
They
threw it in the river.
That's not a prank, man.
Oh, my house got TP'd. What happened to you? They threw my car into the river.
Jeez, man. I didn't know they were so touched. I didn't know the Dutch were so tough is what I meant to say.
I don't know that you need to be tough to throw a car in the river if you get enough guys together.
You got to be mean, it sounds like. Yeah.
Mean, yeah.
Yeah, drunk and mean. 41 across 20 questions category. The answer is mineral. If we're playing 20 questions and your answer is graphite or something, or I don't even know if that's a mineral. Granite, is that a mineral? Granite's got to be a mineral. I've never played 20 questions with somebody and they were using a mineral. Have you?
Never. Never. Let's role play a little bit.
Okay.
We're playing 20 questions. I get 20 questions to ask you. I want you to answer. The category is mineral. Okay, let's start. What is the category?
This time it's going to be mineral.
Okay, great. First question, do you want me to get you an Uber or are you going to walk home? You loser. You mineral loser. Go hang out with Cray Cray.
What's the second question? Boy, man. That's
30 down, affectionate nose rubbing. That's an Eskimo kiss. I knew that.
Yeah.
And we've all heard Eskimo kiss. But do you think that is offensive to Eskimos?
Well, the word Eskimo is offensive to Inuit people, I believe.
Well, Eskimo, it could be offensive, but it that incorporates not just Inuits, all of the Arctic tribes, I think, are basically lumped into the word Eskimo.
Well, somebody on Google says that it's offensive. Okay, I'm not offended by it, but I'm not, Inuit.
Well, I think so now they're doubly offended because they're being called Eskimos, and on top of that, they're going, we're not. We know you kiss with your lips, you morons. We're not dumb. I'm not up here nosing my wife just because it's cold.
I think that I don't know that it's a thing though. It's a real thing.
But I don't think
it's more
Eskimos do it.
It's a friend gesture. It's more as a friendly gesture, not a romantic gesture, I think.
Okay, Greg, name the last friend you ran into that you just rubbed your nose against.
I'm not from Alaska, okay? All right? I don't.
So when two Eskimos meet, they just go, good to see you, Bob.
Back in the day, they did. If there was a good friend.
Good to see you, Bob. Let's rub noses.
With the way
official.
you're talking and arguing right now, it's not going to be you next time I see you. It's also probably a thing of the past with coronavirus. I don't see much of that going on.
Man, those Inuits, when I worked in that salmon canning factory, they hated my guts.
Did they really? Because you were taking their jobs?
No, they worked there too. I don't know why.
Just because they didn't like you?
No, they didn't like any of
you
the
rub people the wrong way sometimes. Probably you running your mouth about Eskimo kisses or something, man.
Man, when I worked up there, I would load the fish into these big retort cookers, and they're about 60, 65 feet long, and they're a little tunnel. They cook the salmon while it's already in the can, and the first load, you'd have to walk all the way back to this oven. So you're like 60 feet into an oven, and I was just starting working there. And they slammed the oven door on a guy. They closed him in there.
What?
By accident. And he screamed. And they heard him at the last second. And I had just started, and he comes up to me and he goes, oh, man. He had been there a couple summers and he goes, oh, man. That's the worst when that happens.
When that happens,
Yeah, when you almost get cooked alive in a fish oven. Yeah, that is the
that
worst.
is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the about the 13th time, it really starts to bother you. It really.
Yeah. About the 10th friend that gets salmonized, you start to really get annoyed.
35 down, University of Oregon logo. That is, of course, Nike.
Yeah. Nike does have the lockdown on that school.
Yeah,
that is
Phil
for
Knight
sure.
gives him like 35 uniforms. It's capital O is the answer, capital O. But man, Nike takes care of those guys.
Oh, they get shoes because I'm into sneakers. I mean, the Oregon basketball guys get shoes that you can sell on the aftermarket for like $35,000.
35,000?
Yeah, because they're colors of certain shoes that literally are never issued to anyone except Oregon basketball players. So you'd get in trouble for trying to sell them, but it's like they're extraordinary. Like, so they'll have Jordans in the Oregon colors, which are like they're just not made except Nike makes them for the basketball team. So for shoe collectors, they're like to get some of the Oregon colorways, it's like a huge deal because they're it's so rare.
You think any of them sell them?
I don't know. I think you would get in trouble. I mean, NBA players with Nike contracts can get their hands on them sometimes, too. You'll see NBA players wear them in games sometimes. But, I mean, there's a whole world of, like, Nikes that are only released to certain people, like friends and families, they call them. And they're super valuable because they're not made for the public. It's wild. Those Marty, they made the Marty McFly Back to the Future Nikes.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Back to the Future 2? The ones they made they've come out with those twice, but when they came out with them in 2016, they only made like 80 something pairs, and those are the most valuable shoes. Those shoes go for like over $100,000, which seems excessive.
Seems a little excessive.
But if I get that gold chain for $600,
yeah,
that's my
that'd be the next. Yeah, that's quite a jump there. But yeah, you might have to go back to doing the podcast if you're going to look for that.
Right, it's a pretty good podcast, I think.
Yeah, I enjoy it. You want to move on to Friday, Brendan?
Yeah, let's talk about Friday, May 1st. This was a Trenton Charleston. No theme. This thing, Greg, I went 6 for 7 this week. This thing just
Gotcha.
beat me fair and square. Oh, yeah, I think it's Trenton Charles. Sorry, my handwriting's off a little bit.
I think we spent way too much time on this guy's name.
Yeah, I get tip of my hat to him. He beat me fair and square. There was nothing I can take umbrage with. I was 3 letters off. I missed the clue execrate. I didn't know what that meant. I missed it for damn, and I'm kicking myself because I had the D and I had the M. I should have known. And then because of that, I missed the faith that preaches nonviolence to all living creatures, Jainism. I missed that, and I missed
that
strategy.
clue, man. And I threw my computer at the wall and I cursed out some kids and started a fight with the neighbor.
You're not practicing Jainism, Greg.
I know.
That's great. You're doing Gregism.
It occurred to me when I feel bad about it now.
Yeah. So beat me by 3 letters. I'll take it, man.
I got beat on this one. I got I got beat good. I mean, I made a solid effort, but I that game reversey, just call it Othello. I know they're slightly different, but I couldn't get that one. And here's what I couldn't get: that it's 26 across chess maneuver with a French name that's en passant. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I play a lot of chess against the computer. I'm not terribly good, but I'm decent, And I know now from this clue that the app that I've been playing against is not, in fact, broken, because that I've had that en passant thing against me a couple of times, and I'm like, the app's broken. They're not playing right. You're not supposed to be able to. Yeah, I literally thought something was wrong with the app. I didn't know.
Wait, what happens during an en passant?
I don't want to bore everyone to tears. It's basically like if I move my pawn 2 squares and I pass up one of your pieces, you can just take my pawn. It's a weird thing, man.
Oh yeah, I have heard of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was an en passant.
Yeah.
I thought that was cheating.
I thought it was just the computer screwing up.
Oh, weird. You leave it to the French to make chess harder than it already is.
Yeah, I'm not going to take a shot at the French, man. We've taken a shot at a lot of people on this podcast.
Who?
I mean, you're running down Ace Hardware, and
I prefer Ace Hardware,
yeah,
Greg.
no,
I just
don't.
said they can't compete with the big boys.
Yeah.
I take an Ace any day of the week because nothing I like more than to talk to an old guy at the counter and look stuff up on Google beforehand about machinery and hardware, and then lie as if I knew it from actually working with it. There is nothing I like better than that.
20 down. Proper task of life per Ray Nitschke, the football player. And the answer is art. I didn't know that Ray Nitschke was an artist or a philosopher.
Nishi.
I think it's pronounced
niche.
I think it's pronounced
Niche.
I think it's pronounced Nitschke.
No, it's either Nishi or niche.
Well,
it's certainly not Ray Nitschke.
You're not the one to be calling me out when you. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, neither of us know, but I know it's not the
Nietzsche,
football
dummy.
player.
I know. I was trying to do a joke there a bit, and I thought, well, for sure, my friend Brendan, who gets 6 out of 7 regularly, sometimes 7 out of 7, would know that there's a philosopher named Nietzsche, not niche.
Well, can I tell you my problem? It's an ongoing problem in my life. Is that
You're stupid.
No, you know that I'm not very social. And most of my knowledge is gained from reading. And when you read something and never say it to anyone, you don't know.
You could go on Google, and they have the audio pronunciation on there now.
But why would I do that if I think I can pronounce
Intellectual
it right?
curiosity to make yourself better and avoid moments like this when I set you up on a perfectly mediocre bit and you don't deliver.
Well, I did deliver. I said niche.
And then you
I
said
heard silence,
niche.
so maybe it's niche. You know how many years I was saying biopic instead of biopic?
I think I did that one. I did that one a lot. Yeah.
I mean, for years, and no one called me an idiot. It seems like biopic.
Yeah. 12 down, hairless creature in a nursery rhyme. Of course, that's Fuzzy Wuzzy, which, I get. Fuzzy Wuzzy, they make a big deal out about it. They make a whole nursery rhyme. It's just that happens. He didn't have any hair, and they call him Fuzzy Wuzzy. It's like the biker that's fat, and you call him tiny, right? Or the bald guy, you call him curly. It happens, okay?
Right. So what you're saying is he did not deserve a rhyme.
He didn't need a whole rhyme about himself,
What you're saying is that Fuzzy Wuzzy, who was a bear, and Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair, you're saying Fuzzy Wuzzy existed, but he didn't deserve for a rhyme to be written about him.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Well, there's not much argument I can make there. 45 across. Quote, I forgot what I'm supposed to say here, end quote. And the answer is line. That's what you would say if you're acting. Now, my first acting opportunity, Greg is actually a very good actor. I am a good actor.
I believe I showed it on the last podcast.
You did. I'm a decent actor when I'm comfortable. I've taken acting classes, not as many as Greg. I'm decent when I'm comfortable, but I deal with a lot of nerves and anxiety. And my first big acting opportunity was I did a show on Comedy Central called Adam Devine's House Party, where you do stand-up, but then in between the stand-up segments, you're part of this sort of ongoing story. So it's sort of sketches, but sort of a story. And my first scene that I was shooting was in a lobby of a hotel, and a pig, Greg, ran across the lobby, and my line was, "Whose pig is that?" That was my line.
Yeah.
That's it. Whose pig is that? And never acted before. I'm with Adam Devine from Pitch Perfect, from Workaholics. Nicest guy in the world. There's a crew, this is a real deal. The crew, there's about 40 people, they got all the lighting. I'm in makeup. I'm in everything. I just kept blanking. I lost it.
Well, it's a mouthful. I mean, whose pig is that?
This pig, Greg. And every single person was cool about it. Adam was great about it. The cast was cool about it. The only person who was furious was the pig handler, because it was the only person. Everyone was fine. It was like, dude, it's fine. There's no rush. And the pig handler's like, the pig is getting tired. The pig's run. I can't just make him keep running. He's not a machine. And sometimes I'd nail it, I'd finally nail it, but the pig had gone past the shot, so we had to go back and do it. Finally, I nail it, and I'm like, this pig is so cool, so cute. And I go to the lady. I go, I'm so sorry. I've never really acted before. Can I pet the pig? And she goes, no. And just
why don't you go run your lines, dummy?
Yeah, just leave. I blew it on whose pig is that. I'm an idiot. I couldn't remember whose pig is that.
Yeah, you almost got an Oscar for that role, from what I remember.
48 across, man. Oh boy. Oh boy. Company behind the podcast, The Daily. That's the New York Times.
Yeah.
NYT. You little brown noser, Charleston.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
little
I didn't think of
suck
that,
up.
man. Yeah.
Hey,
guys.
Yeah. I hope you're proud because you bought your way in.
You did, man.
I hope you're proud, man. Guys, puts a plug in the podcast to get next week. He's going to go the world's most renowned obituary section.
He's going to have Will Shorts' name in the podcast, probably, or in the crossword puzzle.
Not even in terms of crossword. The greatest man.
47 down, great taste since 1905. Slogan here. Once again, they're hitting us with RC Cola. Somebody over there has RC Cola makes it into this crossword puzzle way too many times. It's a distant number 9.
It is a Greg. I would go as far as to say this: RC Cola makes it into the New York Times crossword puzzle more than it gets drunk. Honestly,
I thought you were going to say
close.
something ignorant like RC Cola is the Ace Hardware of soda pops, but
no, I think you misread me. I like Ace Hardware, I do, but I mean, honestly, RC Cola once a week with the RC Cola. Nobody's drunk an RC Cola in 30 years unless you go to Arby's, and then you've got no choice.
yeah, you did tell me that. I didn't know that that's what they had there.
That's the only thing keeping them afloat. Everyone knows that.
We got to go to Saturday, man.
Okay,
I got this. How do I not get
a
Wednesday and then I get a Saturday?
Let me tell you why. And this is not to denigrate you in any way. And this has happened the last 2 weeks.
Take it away from
This has
me.
happened the last 2 weeks. They're putting the Saturday on Friday. That's what they're doing,
You're trying to take it away from me. You're trying to take away.
I'm not taking it away
You're
from you.
taking away my victory, man.
I'm not
I had
taking
a rough
away
week.
from
I
you.
went 4 out of 7, and you're taking it away from me. The one thing I can hold on to. Jerk.
No, you cannot argue that Friday was way
brutal.
harder.
It was way harder
than the Saturday.
You're, right. You're totally right. This
Saturday
was no Saturday. I'm a loser.
It was a Saturday, Greg. I'm just saying it was brutal. This was Apollo Pasco. No theme here. 9 down, part of a forest that can grow as fast as 2 feet in a day. That's kelp. I'll tell you right now, Greg, I don't care what a scientist tells you. A forest is on land.
I know, man. I know.
And I won't hear
this is a
otherwise.
Trick. This is it's an inaccuracy.
Well, I looked it up. Yes, it is a kelp forest, but whoever said that's an idiot.
I know,
it's not.
man. I mean, we can't lodge a protest because technically they're right, but I guess that's not a bad Saturday clue. It isn't.
Well, and we also can't lodge a protest because even when we do say we're going to lodge a protest, we don't lodge
never
protest.
Do. No, we
no.
Yeah, but I mean, but we mean it for a couple minutes.
Yeah, no, we believe in it for as long as we remember.
I need to ask you a question. One's making periodical changes for short. That's 3 down, and it's EDs. I don't understand that.
That was frustrating.
What is that?
That was frustrating. They mean periodicals in terms of, for instance, a magazine. So editors.
What's an ED?
Editor.
That's not a abbreviation for editor. ED is an editor?
I don't know.
No,
but
man.
that's what they mean.
No. I'm lodging a protest.
Lodge a protest, man. We're gonna do this. You got your form ready?
Yeah. I got the form. I got a lawyer, and I'm serious, man. I mean, I got the answer.
How would you abbreviate editor?
I wouldn't.
Hard to argue with that.
EDTR maybe. EDs is not. That's not editor, man. Eds.
It certainly did not occur to me at first. I will agree with you. It took me until today when I was going over my notes to figure out what that meant. So I totally am in agreement with you. I would not abbreviate editor as eds. 24 down was nightcap. Night spelled with a K.
Yeah.
So that was helmet. You know those ones that you see, like when you see a full suit of armor?
Yeah.
And you see those jousting ones that they cover the full face and it kind of looks like a beak. You know what I'm talking about? Like it sticks out a little bit. Just a little bit. Do you think at some point a guy was like, hey, Lancelot, I'm starting to think these things are kind of a hindrance. I mean, I can't see anything. It's not good, and when they do hit me, I still get viciously concussed because my head is stuck in a tight-fitting can. This is not a good helmet. And I think that's why they moved to the top-only helmet. That the full-face coverage was not a good idea.
I gotcha, yeah. Man, can you imagine what these jousters could do if they lived today and had the like a football helmet, like a nice bike football helmet?
Get their eyes poked out, I would imagine. That's why they need that full face
with
thing.
a good face mask on there, like a lineman, a face guard or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I got a bad history with jousters, so this is a sore subject.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to bring this up. What happened?
Well, you ever been to medieval times?
No. Oh, I think, yeah, you got to tell this story, man.
So I was in 7th grade, and we go on a school trip to medieval times. And, man, you go to medieval times, and everything there is designed to get you to feel as if you're in medieval times. Like, they really play up the atmosphere. You call the server a wench. There's like, I mean, they're really buying in. They're hyping you up. And then, so I go, and you each section of where you're dining, it's kind of an arena where they're jousting, and there's a whole show with the king and everything. They give you these big turkey legs to eat, and you're encouraged to kind of be in this medieval character, And so we were cheering for the blue knight, and the yellow knight comes over by our area, and I wrapped a bunch of napkins around my turkey leg, and I put it in the candle and lit it on fire, and I threw it at him. And turns out
What?
Turns out that is not approved
No.
at medieval times.
No.
They turned on all the house lights. The show stopped, and they said, "Who threw a flaming turkey leg into the arena?" And I was in quite a bit of trouble for that.
I
move.
bet you were,
quite
man.
a bit.
Man,
Yes.
kids in the Middle Ages got in trouble for that. That's
I thought that's what we were doing here. That's what I told the guy.
You're
It's
a
just,
maniac,
what are you
Brendan.
talking about? I thought this was medieval time. Is this medieval times, or are we in Toronto? You tell me.
Is
'cause
it
it
medieval
seems to me-
times? Is a third grader's birthday party? You pick, okay?
yeah.
You're a maniac,
Yes,
man. You are.
I was-
Did your dad get pretty mad at you?
They didn't tell him. They didn't know.
that's cool.
They didn't call home. Yeah, it was pretty good because it was an overnight. It was the first ever overnight in 7th grade. They took us to Toronto, and the only punishment was I had to stand next to a teacher for the entire rest of the 3 days. I was not allowed to do anything except standing next to this one guy.
Yeah. The arsonists need to typically. Let's go to Sunday, man.
May 3rd. This is Ben Zimmer and Brendan Emmett Quigley.
We've worked with Quigley, I think.
Yep, we have. Ben Zimmer I don't recognize, but
Neither do
the
I.
title of the puzzle was Shifting Sounds. It was basically making puns using the letters OU instead of the normal letter. So a dog's order at a malt shop was a hound shake instead of a handshake.
Yep.
There's a bunch of those.
There's a bunch
They
of
were
them, and a couple of them I didn't get. I mean,
Well, here's the problem with them, Greg. This was a dumb theme because at first it seemed like there was a set rule.
Yeah.
Where just OU was replacing something or sound even was being jumbled up, but that was not the case. They were just OU. All it was OU inserted somewhere where it shouldn't.
yeah,
be.
the puzzle is called Shifting Sounds, though, because it's supposed hound shake sounds kind of like handshake. Ned
Right.
Flounders sounds like Ned Flanders. Canceled check sounds like canceled check. But then you get down to fuzzy mouth. What's that supposed to sound like? Oh, fuzzy math.
Fuzzy math.
Fuzzy math. Got that? Okay. What about trounce state?
Trance state.
Okay, I'm wrong, is what I'm trying to say on this one. I'm completely wrong, and I didn't see it. And
No, it wasn't a.
what
fully
about
played
fair
out
couch?
theme.
What's that?
What?
Fair couch.
Fair catch.
Man, I don't deserve. I don't deserve to be running a podcast. I don't know.
No, you do, Greg.
I
you
lost
do.
a Wednesday. I don't get fair catch. I don't know. I'm trying to tell you what,
But-
man.
You do, Greg. You do. Now let's talk about something we can both get behind. Okay, I need to up your morale right now. One across, smashing. The answer is Sacco.
Nope.
Now, for the last time, do the New York Times crossword writers just live in a high school in the 1950s?
Well,
Enough of this. Sacco?
Sacco. Yeah. Sacco. I'm with you, buddy.
Come on.
I'm
Now that I've propped you up, let me take you down.
Okay.
21 across. Alma mater of Grant and Lee.
Yeah, that's the
abbreviation.
thing, man. I didn't know that Horace Grant and Spike Lee went to the United States Military Academy. I had no idea.
This is Nishi all over again.
Well, at least you didn't say it's pronounced Graint.
What I would have liked to have seen this clue be is alma mater of Grant and Lee, but not Warren. For those of you that don't know, Greg attended one year at West Point, which is actually a very prestigious thing to get into, but I do like to give him a hard time.
I was what they called in the Army a quitter, actually, is what they... yeah, that's... yeah. United States Military Academy. Sometime when we have a little more time, we can talk. I'll tell you some stories from that place, but I can't get into it now, man.
All right.
I mean, I think there may be some agreements with the government where I can't get into it either. But
Are they giving plebes the inside info?
yeah, I got all kinds of stuff, man.
That's huge. That seems a little risky on the on the government. Now I know you boys just arrived this week, but it's important to know who killed Kennedy. Okay, you're not going to get through basic training if you don't know who really killed Kennedy. 40 across, big name in ratings. Of course, Nielsen. You got the Nielsen ratings. Now, I want to ask you this: in your entire life, have you ever known anyone with a Nielsen box?
Man, no, I think I was actually asked to do it one time when I was like just out of college, maybe, and I didn't do it. I was too lazy to fill out the paperwork.
All right, well because I've never known anyone, and I've just come to the conclusion.
Few.
I've come to the conclusion they're making it up, but that makes me feel better that someone actually asked you.
No, I
so
think
maybe
they did.
there is some legitimacy. Because I'll tell you what, on The Price is Right, on Family Feud, they're making it up. I know that for a fact. They did not poll 100 people for every question of in the years of that game. They're polling 100 people. They got a guy in the back making it up.
Just, every time, wherever we go, eventually it's going to lead to your problems with the Price is Right. It's just
No, Family Feud.
Family Feud, whichever.
You don't think they're making up Family Feud?
Man, I just didn't want to get into it on this podcast. It's just
Tell me to my face you think they're polling 100 people for every question, Greg.
I don't want to get in our. Yes, I think they do. I think.
Wow. Wow. I'm glad that's on the record.
I said it. I'm sorry. 34 across, stand up. Kondabalu, that's Hari Kondabalu. I think we need to point out every time we get a comedian on one of these things.
Yeah, I like Hari. Hari's a good guy. Hari's brother went to my college, I think. He had kind of a successful rap group for a while. I like Hari. 95 across, birds that can recognize themselves in mirrors. Those are magpies. And I don't know if you know this, Greg. It's actually pretty interesting because I looked this up. They found that out. This ornithologist saw a magpie in front of a reflective window one day, and he was going, "Ugh, I'm such a total fatty."
It was, yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, the older magpies. Oh, God, get yourself together, man. What happened? What happened to you? What's going down? 60 down. I feel like I'm complaining a lot on this episode, but 60 down. Banned show of firepower informally N-test. That's nuclear test. I guess they say N-test is short for nuclear test, but I don't think it is. I Googled N-test and it didn't come up at all. I don't think that. I think that's just it's it's the way that we abbreviate nuclear test. I don't. Did you think that's in the vernacular or
No, and it came up a couple weeks ago as a test.
That one, maybe
that I've heard. Yeah. That one made some sense to me
because they call it an A-bomb.
Right, but exactly, and I think back, they were atomic bombs at that when they were testing them. So, but I've never heard N-test, and I felt the same way. I felt the exact same way.
Made me mad. This made me mad. I'm launching a protest. Double protest.
You're rightfully fired up here.
Double protest this week.
73 across, frequent choice for maid of honor. You know what didn't fit there, Greg, was crummy, too long of a speech maker. So it turns out it was sister.
Yeah, sister does fit better in the puzzle.
But horrible over-length speech maker does not fit. What is that? What did she got 16 pages up there? Jeez.
Yeah. Brendan, not everybody's a stand-up comedian, a trained speaker.
I first met Susie when we were 1 year old. Oh God.
Now, my first of 9 stories begins with...
Yeah. I'd like to thank each and every one of our sorority sisters with a brief anecdote about them. Now, this you must agree with me. You have to agree on this, Greg.
I'm usually with you, man. I'm usually with you. I just didn't think the Ace Hardware thing was...
No, but this one is the same, but this one you're going to be with me.
Okay.
Competitor of eBay, Ubid.
I never heard of Ubid, man. Ubid. It sounds like they just made it up. There's not. Ubid.
That is. Okay, I'll give up Ace if you'll give me Ubid.
I give you Ubid, man. I am with you on Ubid.
Hey, you know who else is a competitor of eBay? My aunt's garage sale.
Yeah.
I think that should probably do it for the week, huh, man?
Yeah, I think so. And I want to say I'm going to do better next week, guys. You don't turn on a podcast to hear some guy that goes 4 out of 7 and misses a Wednesday. I want to apologize. I want to apologize to my partner Brendan. I want to apologize to all the listeners.
I don't accept it. You don't need it. You don't need to apologize. The New York Times crossword puzzle. We're not out here doing.
You don't miss a Wednesday, Brendan. You don't miss a Wednesday.
You can miss a Wednesday, Greg. We're not doing the crossword puzzle in the back of.
I felt better about myself because I got a Saturday and you just pulled the carpet out from under me on that.
No, we're not out here working on the crosswords in the back of the In-Flight magazine. Okay, this is the New York Times, the Gray Lady, the crossword of all crosswords, by what everything is judged by. Give yourself a break, okay? Now, you guys, give us a break. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. I mean, don't review us if it's going to be like, they got this one idiot who missed a Wednesday.
Oh, come on, man. I thought you said it wasn't that bad.
Don't do that.
I knew it.
But, if you got something nice to say, take a second and review us. We'd appreciate it. Anyways, good talking to you, Greg.
Nice talking to you, Brennan. We'll talk to you in exactly 1 week.
One Down is hosted by Greg Warren and Brendan Eyre. Produced and edited by John Baldwin. Our theme song is written and performed by Henry Phillips. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcast.
One Down, the comedy crossword podcast.